What is up, my friends? It is time to do another line conversation. So Griff and I have been talking about line and some problems that we've been having with lines that we've been using for years and years and years. So we thought we've been getting enough questions that we should just do a video and let you guys know what lines we've tried, what lines we're loving, and what we're using, and maybe it can help you in your line journey. So if you'd like to join in on the Ben and Griff line combo, let's have some fun.
Nice.
Welcome back, my friends. I am Ben with the Hookup Tackle, the Tackle Otaku on Instagram, being joined by the one and only little guy of the club, Griff. Relax there, fella. Here, I'll keep slouching so we're even.
Need a book.
Hey, what's up, by the way?
What's up, man? Long time no sit.
I know. So we haven't done a video in a while together, and we were talking yesterday, and one of the questions that we've been getting a lot is about line choices, and we've been making a lot of kind of underhanded comments about certain lines over the last few months that we've been struggling with and having some problems with. And a lot of you guys have been having the same problems or just curious what problems we've been having. So we wanted to make this video today to just kind of put it all out there and let you know some of the struggles that we've had, some of the lines that we've reconnected with, and some of the new lines that we're using, so that if you guys are experiencing the same thing, you're not alone, and that hopefully this will kind of help you understand what's happening.
Yes.
Did I say that perfectly?
Nope, but
okay.
We're good.
Good enough. Okay, so let's start with this. The line that's probably caused more questions than anything for us. So this is from Sunline. This is a Sunline FC Sniper fluorocarbon. Now this is a line that's been on the market probably for, I don't know, I'm gonna guess 30 years now. I've been using it since the early 2000s. Sunline originally had a very small pro staff. It was Aaron Martins, Brett Height, Brent Ayler. I think it was just those three. I might be missing somebody. If I am, I'm sorry. But they distributed it through this random dude in West Virginia out of his truck called SR Trout at the time. And I had to try to get a hold of this guy as he was driving around the country and beg him for line. It was like the most ghetto distribution thing that I have ever seen. But it was a line that at the time, straight fluorocarbon was relatively new to the market. It was kind of just becoming a thing, and there wasn't a lot of options. FC Sniper was a line that all of us kind of gravitated towards, and it's literally been a staple in my arsenal since then. It's kind of been my go-to line forever. The biggest reason for that is because it's built soft. Right, it's a soft line, so it doesn't coil real bad on your reel. It has easy cast management. It goes through a great coating process, so historically it's been very strong. It's just been a very user-friendly line. If you're a guy like me, who I backlash quite a bit, my reels are like super loose, right? So I have like 0 breaks, 2 breaks, and I get all kinds of little fluffs, and I'll just pull a couple things out. It's always been able to withstand that and hold up to that. Would you say you've had the same experience up until recently with that line?
Yeah, Sunline, or the Sniper's been great for me. I'm still actually using some of the sizes, so
okay.
I haven't switched over all the way, but
okay.
I don't backlash like Ben does. I'm a good caster, so I don't have that many problems with it.
It's easy when you just throw it into the middle and you're not actually trying to skip it anywhere or get a good cast in there.
Skipping?
Let's go.
When I do have an issue, it does come out very clean. You don't get a ton of kinks. My line usually stays on my reel for a long time, and it recovers very well if I haven't used that reel in a long time. When I pull it out, it's still usable, and it recovered very well.
Yeah, so the point in me giving you that back history and that backstory is so that you understand that I have been a fan of this line for most of my life. Most of my life fishing, at least my adult life, this is the line that I've used. So I'm super intimate with it. It's been my go-to from anywhere from trout when I was guiding a lot, even on fly. I'd use this for leader material, swim baits, like everything has gone on this line. Now, towards the end of last year, I started making a lot of comments like never sniper, right? Or no more sniper. And what started happening last year, kind of last spring, was I started experiencing just a ton of breakage. And what I mean by breakage is breaking at very random times that it shouldn't be breaking. Now, if you're buying good, expensive fluorocarbon, especially in like a 16 pound or a 20 pound, you guys know that when you snag on the ground, you should be able to almost like pull the earth.
Yeah.
Like your boat pulls, and a lot of times you're like, oh my God, you can't even break this stuff, right? I was experiencing like up in a rock, and then I would just snap it and my line would break. And it's like, that's weird, right? And then I'd experience things like, you know, casting, and then mid-cast, my line breaks. And I'm like, what the hell is happening? Or I'd make one of those little fluffy backlashes I'm talking about, you know, just a little fluff, right? Where I'd throw and just, you know, a couple little things where you normally just pull a couple strands out and then wind it in, and I'd pull the strands and it would just be broken. And I experienced this, and I experienced this, and I experienced this, and I'd change line and get different spools, and I'd change line and get different spools, and the same problem was happening. And then at the same time, you were also having kind of the same problems.
Yes. So I was actually breaking near my knot,
Okay.
but not like at the knot. It's off the knot.
So like it was almost burning a little bit as it was tying,
Yeah.
and it just like
Yes.
super weak. So something happened. My guess is that something happened in the coating process, and it wasn't just one run of it. For months, I'd order more, and I'd get different runs, and I'd try it. I'd buy it from Japan even and try it. I'd do different things to try it. No matter what I did, I had the same result. CJ, you had the same result. Jeff had the same result. Ethan had the same result. Like everybody here at the store was having the same problems where the stuff was breaking at times where it never broke before.
Right.
And when we reached out to Sunline and asked them about it, their answer was, we must be crazy.
Yeah.
Right? Nothing's changed. We must be crazy. Okay. Well, so it basically just started us down a rabbit hole of trying something out for the sake of not breaking stuff off, right? I basically tried every fluorocarbon on the market. I went through all the SEAGUAR, even tried some of the Spros because Gilbert was hot on them, all the different Sunlines. There were many that I liked, really enjoyed the strength of Tatsu. I didn't enjoy the castability of Tatsu. For me, what I ended up on was I ended up on Sunline Shooter. Okay, so first off, Sunline Shooter is a higher end line than Sniper. Okay, it's a more expensive price point. It's built differently. However, not only has this line proved to have the perfect kind of combination for me of cast control where it's not too stiff, like it still casts well and easy, great abrasion resistance, but it also lasts way longer than my Sniper ever lasts. I've had, I mean, we're in May now.
Yeah.
I've had all my spools, all my reels have the same shooter that I put on them in January. So they've lasted basically half of a year for me already, and I've been fishing a lot this year. So even in nasty water, even fishing through cover and in wood and all the stuff that we've been doing, one spool has gotten me through an entire, almost 2 seasons of fishing. So with Shooter, what you need to know is that everything from 20 pound to lighter, so 20 pound to 7 pound, is built a little stiffer than Sniper, and it's built with more abrasion resistance, okay? So you're gonna get better knot strength, better abrasion resistance, but it's gonna be slightly worse at casting. But I'll take the slightly worse at casting to not break all the time. When you go above 20, so you get to 22 and 25, it has a little bit of stretch built into it, okay? And this is important to know because that stretch will help you with 2 things. The first thing is it'll help you when you're flinging big baits. So if you guys are throwing glide baits, big soft baits, any of that stuff, that stretch is nice because when you load that cast up, it gives you a little bit of stretch in there so you're not breaking baits off. It's also great for close range. So when I flip, probably 60% of the time I flip with braid, the other 40% I flip with straight fluoro. This would be my fluoro option. It has that built-in stretch so that if I crack the whip or I get a little slack line hook set, it doesn't just break the line. It has a little bit of extra give to be able to withstand that. That's my experience. This is what I've switched to. What have you done?
So I've also switched to the shooter.
Okay.
I didn't take the time to test lines. I just let you figure it out.
Perfect.
And then once you figured it out, I started switching
Okay.
everything over.
All right. So you said you haven't switched all your sizes of sniper. Are you still finding some sizes of sniper that are working for
Yeah,
you?
some of them are working for me. It's the lighter sizes that I'm using, the 8, 10, 12 in the shooter that I switched over.
Okay.
But I'm slowly gonna switch over everything. But like my 16, I don't use a 20.
So you haven't had any problems with sniper like 14 pound or 16 pound or 18 pound? See, those are the sizes that I was having the trouble with.
Yeah.
So this is, you know, when it comes to line, in my opinion, line is probably, after rod, line is probably the most personal piece of your fishing puzzle.
Oh, absolutely.
You know, rods, there's not one right rod that's perfect for everybody. That's the importance of, you know, understanding what it is that you like, right? And you hear us talk a lot about, yeah, this rod might be more sensitive, but this rod is way more fun to use, right?
Yeah.
Everybody connects with different things, and rods are a very personal connection. Line is the same way. So if you're having success, do not listen to what we're saying. Stay with what you're doing, okay? If it's working for you, then do not put any credence to what we're talking about. This is solely just to give you feedback from what we've been experiencing and what we've found. And just because I ended up here doesn't mean you'll end up here. I just want to give you guys a starting point as to why I was searching and why I ended up here. Okay, so I think you guys will really like this. Again, like I said, the Tatsu was great. That was really the only other fluoro that I personally enjoyed. I again tried all the DAIWA fluoros, hated them again, just like I hated them in the beginning. For me, they're just thick. They don't cast great. They break down fast. A lot of guys love them, and that's great, right? But my experience is that day in and day out, this is line that I could use all day. I could put my rod in my locker. I could forget to spray it with any kind of spray, and I could go back out 4 or 5 days later and pull that rod out, and it's got, you know, every bit the same strength, castability. Like, I just keep going with it. So I've been super stoked with this. So you've been having good success.
Yeah, great success.
Okay. Anything else on fluoro?
No. That's
Pretty
it.
easy. Thanks for letting me be the guinea pig. Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. I mean, let's jump to braid. Okay. So braid for me comes in 2 categories: bait casting braid and spinning braid. Okay. The spinning braid has caused us to go down all kinds of rabbit holes over the last 7-8 months. Now, I'm holding a spool of Sunline Almight. Before Sunline Almight, Sunline made a line called the Defier D braid. Most of you guys know it. It was kind of the original pink braid. It had a core down the center with strands wrapped around it, right? We started importing it. Everybody loved it. It literally was on every rod I owned.
Yep.
Every rod you owned. Every rod you owned.
Yep.
It was like the ultimate braid. It was like, hallelujah. Finally, I have a braid that's perfect for everything, right? Sunline discontinued it, and they released Almight. We were told it was the same thing, okay? Now, here's where this gets kind of funny, and this is why this is kind of a personal thing. I find Almight to be exactly the same as Defier D braid. But what do you think?
No. I've had so many issues with the Almight.
Right, and I've even been with you while you're having the issues.
Yes.
Which is crazy that we could be standing right next to each other and I'm watching your line just snap in midair.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was having a ton of issues with my leader to braid, and it was not even breaking, it was just coming undone.
Yeah.
And I've been tying leader knots forever.
Right.
I could switch to another braid and that leader will stay, but for some reason, I feel like the knot holding ability of the line, after a while, it just breaks down. When it's new line, it's great.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
But
you find that this one breaks down faster than the Defier D braid.
yeah, super fast.
Yeah, so, you know, I mention a lot of the videos that I put my Instagram handle in the beginning of the episode so you guys can reach out to me with, you know, questions and dive down rabbit holes and make sure that we have you guys squared away with gear as possible. I've fielded more questions on Sunline Almight than any other line that I've ever sold. And most of it has been, are you experiencing problems? I keep breaking the line. Hey, is it different? Like, these are the questions that have been coming. And initially, I thought that a lot of the questions were probably a sizing issue.
Yeah. Right?
So even if you guys remember back to the Defire D-Braid, the sizing on this is not the same as the sizing is on something like a J-Braid.
Yeah.
Right? So, you know, when you look at a Sunline Almight, yeah, it has like this 16 pound, and you could do something similar here, but it doesn't mean the same thing. This is all based on diameter, so it's a much thinner diameter than a traditional US braid. So if you're not used to the thin line, then of course you could have breakage issues, but you are struggling so much, and a lot of our customers were struggling so much. CJ, I saw you shaking your head when I started talking about Defire D-Braid. Did you have issues with the Almight too?
I didn't think it was the same as the D-Braid.
Okay.
I really enjoyed the D-Braid, and so I was really looking forward to the Almight, but
Yep.
I was kind of let down, honestly, when I first started fishing with it.
Okay.
I was having similar issues with grip,
Okay.
knot strength,
Okay.
but yeah, I didn't have a great experience with it.
Okay, so, and this has been kind of a similar thing. I haven't experienced it. For me, it feels exactly the same, but I've just been around enough of these guys that I trust, and I've literally watched them struggling. So it caused us to go down a braid rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Now, you've really gone down the braid rabbit
So
hole.
the braid rabbit hole, I went down.
Yeah, so I kind of sat back. I did the opposite. I kind of sat back and watched you, and then I'd try things that you said, hey, I like this, and it's caused me to go a direction I didn't think I would ever go. But let's start with your journey first. So what did you do?
So I tried them all. I went to the J-Braid, right? I love J-Braid. J-Braid is a great braid, right?
This guy, yep.
Yeah, J-Braid Grand. It's great. It's soft, but the problem is it's so lightweight and it doesn't have that core, and it's so soft that the wind, it just manipulates it too much for me.
Okay.
Especially on spinning.
Well, and every time you show up fishing, it blows 70 miles an hour.
Yeah.
It's the most
Yeah, this is
unbelievable thing I've ever seen in
Yeah.
my life.
I track the wind like
It's
crazy.
unbelievable. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can see why that's not a good one for you.
Yeah. So it just became unusable because of the wind.
Yeah.
And then I went to Samurai,
Okay.
right? So not the other Samurai,
So the old Samurai.
the old Samurai.
Okay.
Which is, I just didn't like it anyway.
Okay.
So I didn't like it last year when you were telling me I need to throw in my frog.
Right.
I just didn't like it.
Okay.
It wasn't a good braid for me.
Okay.
So I tried that, and again I had the same issues with that, so I didn't like it. But
Okay.
then I tried this Samurai.
The new Samurai.
The new Samurai.
Okay.
And I love this braid.
Okay.
Right. So I felt like the old Samurai had a little stretch in it.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
Right? But this is why it's a personal thing. There's so many things from your casting stroke to your hook set. Like, we're going to all feel different things.
Yeah. And then, you build a lot of confidence in what you're doing through your line. So the old Samurai, like I would like cast out and maybe I got stuck on a branch and I would like pull it in. My bait would come get launched. Like it'd barely pull it and the bait would just launch back to me. And all of a sudden I got a backlash or knots all over it because it was a mess. So this stuff right here doesn't do that for me. It's super strong, it's super rigid. I can fish it through the grass and it cuts the grass really, really good. It is loud, but it's okay.
So it's loud because the grooves are a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
It's kind of a heavy grooved braid. And that's always been kind of a complaint of Samurai for guys, is that it is kind of a louder braid. It's a little bit harder and it's grooved. So by loud, I mean, when you throw it, you'll hear it going through the guides.
Yes.
Like you hear it casting.
Yep.
But if you just listen to music super loud in your truck for a long period of time, your hearing will end up like me. You don't hear any of this shit anyways.
That's
so
age. That's age.
it's like DC reels bothering people. I'm like, dude, I don't even hear that
This
DC
thing's not fucking
reel.
working.
Yeah, my ears haven't stopped ringing since like 2000.
2000.
Another thing I really like about it is that the diameter on it is
Yeah.
normal.
Okay.
Right.
So when you see 15, it's easy for your head to
yeah,
know it's 15.
When I spool the line, I don't have to put 3/4 of it of backing. I put a normal backing on there. The line's normal. I got enough on there.
Yeah.
And It's strong. It holds its knots very, very well. It's a good line. I really like this one.
Yeah. Now, what's funny is I've always been a huge fan of Samurai, and I tried to get you on it, and you hated it.
Yeah.
Right? And then you started using this, and just because I didn't want to be like you, I started using the XBraid. Literally, that's the only reason why. Right? So
Awesome.
I started throwing this. Now, I wanted, the one great thing about that Almight and the Defire D braid is that it was a slow sinking braid, right? And, you know, I don't know who's in charge of Sunline US marketing and Instagram, but they're kind of dum-dums. They always post like, oh, the original or the only sinking braid when they talk about Almight. But YGK has literally had sinking braid for years and years and years. And this is the XBraid. This is the SS112. This is YGK. They just call themselves XBraid now. Probably the largest braid manufacturer in probably the world. They make most companies braids. But I tried this years ago, and I had trouble with knots.
Yeah.
Right? And now, granted, you could tie an FG knot on pretty much anything, you're never gonna have a problem. But who the fuck wants to tie an FG knot every time they break off? CJ, it's ridiculous.
It's the only knot, bro.
In 3 seconds, I can have an Alberto knot just whipped up, and I'm good. So I have really kind of fallen in love with this. It's a chartreuse color, which is easy to see. It holds knots great. It casts incredibly well. It has a very similar sink rate to the Defire D braid or the Almight for me. So even though I haven't been struggling with Almight like you have, all my reels have this on it now, which is kind of cool. And I've really been enjoying this. So I think either way you go, on that Samurai, on that lighter Samurai, is it floating real high or is it still pulling down a little bit?
It's pulling down.
Okay.
It's not super buoyant.
Okay.
But I mean, it does float, so you can use it for all the things.
Yeah. Okay. Now you had me bring this also.
Yes. I also went through and tried this right here, this SEAGUAR PEX Lure Edition braid, and I like this one too.
Okay.
And this one's the total opposite of whatever Samurai is.
Okay.
It's super thin. I can't even see this line.
That's an age thing for sure. It's bright pink, bro.
You
Shit's
can't see.
thick.
It's it's super thin. It's super soft.
Yeah.
Right. But this might be the best casting braid I've ever used.
Have you tried that on any of your bait finesse reels?
Yes. So I use it on my bait finesse reel.
Yep.
And I'm using it on one of my spinning reels.
Okay. And you've been happy both ways, casting and spinning?
Yes.
With it? Cool.
Yeah. And it is thin, but it's holding the knot, the leader knot.
Yeah.
And I'm not having any issues with it. It casts. Like, you gotta soften your cast on this thing. When you cast it, it comes off the spool so fast.
Okay.
But it's good. I like it.
From a longevity issue, are you noticing it breaking down fast, or is it staying in good shape?
I've had it on my reel for about 3 months now.
Okay.
No issues.
Okay. So I love SEAGUAR Smackdown. I think it's probably out of the box, probably the best braid on the market, but it only lasts a trip or two for me.
Yep.
And then it starts breaking down. It's like, it's so frustrating because it's so amazing when I put it on, and then it sucks so quick that I'm always having to swap line. So it's exciting to hear that this is giving you that time. So I'll have to play with this one too.
Yeah.
And
I wish
try
it came in like a 60 pound.
Yeah. Well, maybe if they have success, they'll be able to do it.
Yeah. I really like this one.
On your heavier casting stuff, your frog, your topwater, stuff like that, what are you, since we're talking about braid, what are you throwing on that? Samurai?
Samurai.
So the new Samurai.
Yeah.
You're doing all that.
This is good. This
Okay.
is really good braid. I
Okay.
really like this stuff. I tried the XBraid
XBraid? Yep.
in a 60 pound, I
Yep.
think.
Yep.
But it was so thick. Like, there was really not much you could do with it.
Yeah.
Remember we were fishing and I had it on my line like that crazy green color?
Yep.
And I was like unspooling the whole thing.
Right.
I was just
It was driving you nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've really liked the XBraid for close range, like skipping a frog or just pitching something. But when I've got to go out and bomb a topwater or throw something far, I've just gone back to the J-Braid.
J-Braid's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I just went back here because I was throwing all the old Samurai, and then when it went away, and then we started going down this rabbit hole, I'm like, well, let me go back to this and build my baseline again. And then I just never changed it because it was working great. So, hopefully that gives you guys some insights. Is there anything that we missed on braid?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I think we covered it pretty good. So,
Yeah.
you know, hopefully that gives you some insight as to what we've experienced, what we've seen, good and bad for each of these lines, and how it's implemented into our arsenals. Of course, if you guys have any questions on anything that we talked or maybe didn't discuss, drop it down below, or you guys can reach us on Instagram, and we're always happy to dive down rabbit holes, because there's nothing more frustrating in the world than getting a bite and then being afraid to set the hook because you're unsure of your line. It's literally the worst feeling on the planet. So I want to make sure you guys are dialed, that you're having fun, that you're enjoying your casting. So if you found yourself in a predicament like what Griff and I found ourselves in late last year, and you've been having any struggles, maybe this will give you a little bit of a path to try some stuff that's worked for us. So on behalf of myself and Griff and CJ and David, everybody here at the Hookup Tackle guys, thank you for your time. Hopefully that was insightful, and we'll see you again on the next episode. Hopefully not another line episode for a while. Hopefully we're good for a while, because I hate going through this process and not being sure about things. So hopefully we'll see you maybe on a lure episode.
Bring D-Braid back, please.
Yeah, Sunline, if you're listening, D-Braid, please.
Original.
Okay. Goodbye, guys. Later.